For 70 years, San Bernard Electric Co-op has been true to its calling in providing the best possible electric service at the most economical price. The pioneers of this cooperative faced considerable challenges, but they didn't quit. Today we have our own set of difficulties, but those who came before us serve as a reminder that no job is too tough if the cause is just and the people are determined. Before San Bernard Electric Co-op, life for folks living in the rural areas around here was very difficult because there were so few residents living in the country. The power companies in the 1920s and 30s felt that it was not economically feasible to provide electricity to them. As a result, everyday life was physically hard and demanding with few or none of the conveniences found in the city. Kerosene lamps were all that children had to do their studies by at night. The old wood cook stove required much more effort than just turning it on. Wash day was a whole day affair. Water had to be heated by fire, carried to the wash tub, cleaned on a scrub board, and rinsed in another tub of cold water. So you get the idea how life was like without electricity. Just plain difficult. It was time to take action, and since the power companies of the day refused to get involved, the only way folks were going to be able to come into the modern world was by forming an electric cooperative. Leaders organized San Bernard in 1939, and shortly thereafter, electric lines started making their way through the countryside. One house at a time, rural residents were hooked up to the grid. For many, the day that electricity came into their lives was a day that they remembered forever. Finally having the power revolutionized rural America. At last, women were freed from the back-breaking drudgery of everyday living. It was like being born again. Perhaps a Tennessee farmer summed it up best when he said, "Brothers and sisters, I want to tell you this. The greatest thing on this earth is to have the love of God in your heart, and the next greatest thing is to have electricity in your house." Like our predecessors before us at San Bernard Electric Co-op that faced many difficult challenges, we are facing difficult challenges today. One of the major issues that will soon be addressed in Congress is the climate control question. Some of the proposals on this climate change issue could raise your bill by $50 a month. I don't know about you, but I can't afford $50 a month on my electric bill.
I really don't know what I would do if my electric bill went up $50 a month. I honestly don't know what I would do.
I have to have electricity for my children. I will pay my fair share, but $50? Come on, that to me is not a fair share.
I'd say to the people who say $50 isn't enough or is it much, try living in my shoes.
Franklin Roosevelt made the point that electricity in this country was no longer a luxury. It is in fact a necessity. Our economy is in tough shape, and a lot of Americans are having a very difficult time in meeting budget each and every month. We want to make sure that Congress doesn't add to that burden. We want to make certain that each and every American in this country can continue to receive affordable electric power well into the future. We want to make certain we don't step back from that commitment that Franklin Roosevelt made.
Times are tough, and it could get worse. Officials in Washington are working to address climate change while developing new government mandates on all energy policies. Whatever they decide, electric bills are going to rise as a result. The only question is whether higher electric bills will be kept affordable. Congress is setting goals for action, and even if they don't act, the Supreme Court has decided that the Environmental Protection Agency already has the authority to put new rules in place. Their decisions are going to affect every one of us. Some of their proposals are just plain wrong. One could cost the average co-op member $50 or more per month. $50 every month. Another would even let Wall Street speculators determine how much our bills will go up. They'd make huge profits at our expense. Getting climate change policy right ought to be an important national priority. But we need our elected officials to focus on addressing climate change in a way we can all afford.
Directors all across this country are doing everything they can to keep the cost of electric power down. There's no question that our directors fully understand the hardships that many of our members are going through. They're fighting to keep those costs down, and I think doing a very good job of it. What needs to be understood here is we're dealing with a different situation. This is something out of the control of the directors of the local electric cooperative. This is something that's in the control of their elected officials, the senators and congressmen in Washington. They're the ones that will determine the kinds of jumps that we see in electric bills for the future. As they deal with the issue of climate change, they will also be dealing with the issue of electric bills. And we're hopeful that we can convince our members of Congress to work with electric cooperatives to try to make sure that we not only deal with climate change, but we also keep electric bills affordable for the future. All across this country, we've got 42 million members of electric cooperatives. If we all work together, if we contact our senators and our congressmen, we have an opportunity to have a real impact. We have an opportunity to determine what our electric bills are going to be in the future. That's the reason it's critical that we use ourenergy.coop to contact our elected officials and to get this message across. Let's use our democratic process. Let's make certain our elected officials hear from us, and let's make certain that our electric bills in the future are affordable.
Together, we're strong, and we need to stand together, and we need to get involved.
And we need to use our voices, and this is the time to do it.
Standing together, we'll make one strong group.
There you go.
42 million strong.
There you go.
San Bernard Electric Co-op hopes you will join in this effort by visiting our Energy Our Future display that we have set up in the hall today and make your voice heard. By the sheer nature of an electrical distribution system, it is exposed to all types of weather. And we were really exposed this year in September when Hurricane Ike came calling. While a lot of our membership was out for 3.5 days, one thing really came to light. It was the dedication of our employees. And it's not only what I saw, it's what I heard from you, our membership. By the cards and letters that you sent in, you were really appreciative, as I was, about the dedication that these employees showed throughout this ordeal.